Hi guys, so today I'm doing a video that I've been meaning to do for many months, and this is my bookshelf tour. So I'm only starting with my fiction books because I want to make this video not too long. So this first part is going to be about my read English fiction books, and I will show you guys my unread books, and then I will show you my French and German books, although I won't be going into very great detail regarding those books. This is a bookcase where I have my read English fiction. So I'm just starting off at the very top, and I'm not going to show all of these books individually because they're quite popular books. So the first book I have is my Everyman's Library edition of The Arabian Nights. Then I have Philip Pullman's Fairy Tales from the Brothers Grimm. Then I have two books in German. One is a book of short stories about cats from various authors, and one is a book of fairy tales. Then I have my two collections of the Harry Potter series. So first is the series I read when I was younger, and as you can tell, I have two copies of the first book because the copy at the top, which looks all beat up, is my original copy, and the other copy is the copy that I recently bought so that I could reread it and not damage my original copy. I then have my 7 American editions that I recently got as a college graduation gift for my mother, and then I have a book of La Fontaine Fables. So now on to my first shelf. I'll give you guys a closer look at the shelf as a whole, and then I will go through each book individually. The first book I have is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe, Purple Hibiscus, and Half of the Yellow Sun, both by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian by Sherman Alexie, Untouchable by Mulkraj Anand, The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born by Ayi Kwai Arma, Northanger Abbey, and 2 copies of Emma, all by Jane Austen, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin, Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, The Clown by Heinrich Böll, Lady Audley's Secret by Mary Elizabeth Braddon, The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie by Ellen Bradley, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, 2 copies of Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte, Hotel du Lac by Anita Bruckner, Tell the Wolves I'm Home by Carol Rifka Brunt, The Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov, Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino, Breakfast at Tiffany's by Truman Capote, The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabon, The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros, The Pornographer of Vienna by Lewis Croft, Whatever Happened to Janie by Carolyn B. Cooney, The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, Kissing the Witch by Emma Donoghue, and Notes from the Underground and the Gambler by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This is my third shelf, and I'll show you guys a quick overview before going into each book. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, The Idiot by Dostoevsky, The Colonel by Mahmoud Dawlatabadi, Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle, The Hound of the Baskervilles by Arthur Conan Doyle, Second Class Citizen by Bucci Emecheta, A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle, The Virgin Suicides, Middlesex, and The Marriage Plot, all by Jeffrey Eugenides, White Oleander by Janet Fitch, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe by Fanny Flagg, Where Angels Fear to Tread by E.M. Forster, All That I Am by Anna Funder, Thief Lord by Cornelia Funke, Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, American Gods, Anansi Boys, and The Ocean at the End of the Lane, all by Neil Gaiman, North and South, and Cranford, both by Elizabeth Gaskell, The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid, Hunger by Knut Hamsun, Catch-22 by Joseph Heller, The Sun Also Rises, and For Whom the Bell Tolls, both by Ernest Hemingway. This is my third shelf, and I will once again give you guys an overview of this shelf. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, Our Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, The Remains of the Day, A Pale View of Hills, and Never Let Me Go, all by Kazuo Ishiguro, We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, The Best of Everything by Rana Jaffe, 2 copies of The Trial by Kafka, The Metamorphosis, The Penal Colony, and Other Stories by Kafka, Snow Country by Yasunari Kawabata, Fatelessness by Imre Kertész, Darkness at Noon by Arthur Koestler, The Unbearable Lightness of Being by Milan Kundera, A Bind-Up of Interpreter of Maladies and the Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri, Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahiri, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, Assistant by Bernard Malamud, Death in Venice and Seven Other Stories by Thomas Mann, Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, The Razor's Edge by W. Somerset Maugham, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter by Carson McCullers, Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller, A Fine Balance by Rohinton Mistry, Feeling Sorry for Celia by Jacqueline Moriarty, The Bluest Eye, Beloved, Song of Solomon, and Jazz, all by Toni Morrison, Anne of Green Gables by Lucy Maud Montgomery, Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami. Now on to the next shelf. Hard-Boiled Wonderland and the End of the World by Haruki Murakami, Left Bank by Kate Muir, Miguel Street by V.S. Naipaul, Invitation to a Beheading, Pnin, Lolita, and Laughter in the Dark, all by Vladimir Nabokov, Appointment in Samara by John O'Hara, Animal Farm by George Orwell, My Year of Meats by Ruth Ozeki, Bel Canto by Anne Patchett, Night Film by Marisha Pessel, The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging, and On the Bright Side, I'm Now the Girlfriend of a Sex God by Louise Renison, The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, and Barney's Version, both by Mordecai Rickler, Wide Sargasso Sea by Jean Rice, After Leaving Mr. Mackenzie, also by Jean Rice, Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts, Housekeeping by Marilyn Robinson, Attachments by Rainbow Rowell, Midnight's Children by Salman Rushdie, Venus in Furs, 9 Stories and Franny and Zoe by J.D. Salinger, No Exit and 3 Other Plays by Sartre, Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple, The Reader by Bernard Schlink, Dream Story by Arthur Schnitzler, and now for my Shakespeare plays, The Merchant of Venice, A Midsummer Night's Dream, Hamlet, Richard II, Antony and Cleopatra, and finally The Tempest, all by William Shakespeare. So this is the final shelf in this bookcase. I'll give you guys an overview once again. I already showed you guys these 2 Shakespeare books. We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver, American Wife by Curtis Sittenfeld, White Teeth by Zadie Smith, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith, One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, Oedipus the King, Oedipus Hecalonus, and Antigone by Sophocles, another copy of Antigone by Sophocles, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie by Muriel Spark, The Makioka Sisters by Junichiro Tanizaki, The Rum Diary by Hunter S. Thompson, A Complicated Kindness by Miriam Taves, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, The Slinks by Tatiana Tolstaya, Rules of Civility by Amor Towles, Fathers and Sons by Ivan Turgenev, Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples, Slaughterhouse 5, God Bless You, Mr. Rosewater, Mother Night, Sirens of Titan, and Cat's Cradle, all by Kurt Vonnegut, The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, The Devil Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger, The Age of Innocence by Edith Wharton, The Bridge of San Luis Rey by Thornton Wilder, Annabelle by Kathleen Winter, Lighthouse Keeping by Jeanette Winterson, Cassandra by Krista Wolfe, Revolutionary Road, The Easter Parade, and 11 Kinds of Loneliness by Richard Yates, and finally, Young Hearts Crying by Richard Yates. I will now show you guys all of my unread books, and if you guys want me to do a full video about this, I can show you each of the titles, but in this video I'll just quickly show you guys all of the spines. So I just want to say first, starting here, I have a book where I keep some tickets from traveling, and then these are the books that I have bought this year so far. There are quite a few new books because I haven't filmed a haul in about 3 months. And around here I have a bunch of books that I bought either in 2013 or earlier. And these books over here are mostly picture books and travel books, and I will probably show these in my nonfiction bookshelf tour. Finally, I'll show you guys my French and German books, but I'm not going to be going title by title. I'm just going to show you guys the spines up close. So I just wanted to show you guys that I keep them on this small little bookcase that I have next to my other bookcase. So these are the French titles up close. I haven't read all of these. I find that ever since joining BookTube, I've been reading a lot more in English, and I haven't really been making time to read in French. And of course, French isn't my mother tongue, so it's just a lot easier for me to just read in English. But I do want to start reading in French again because I really do enjoy reading in French. So if anyone wants to read any of these with me, of course, please let me know. And this is my very small collection of German books, and I think I've only read one of these, one or two. So that was my bookshelf tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really had fun filming this, and I've been wanting to film this for such a long time that I'm glad I got this done. And of course, let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about them. And of course, please let me know if you want me to do an updated TBR pile video, because I've been tempted to do one, and if you guys actually want me to do one, then it would probably make me do it sooner. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you guys soon.